Well guys, it's finally time to do my best movies of 2015 list. I know, let's get it out of the way. Let's get it out of the way right now. It's February, I know. Let's get it out of the way. Get it all out. Just comment down below. I know it's February, but I'm still going to do it regardless because there was a lot of great movies in 2015 that I wanted to discuss. And it took me some time to sit down and watch some of the movies that came out towards the end of December that I had to sit down and watch. So it took me some time, but I'm finally here guys to show you guys my 2015 best movies list. Before we do get started, I wanted to do an honorable mention list. These movies that were really great but just did not crack the top 10 list. Those movies are It Follows, Ex Machina, Dope, Straight Outta Compton, Furious 7, The Revenant, Peanuts Movie, The Martian, Inside Out, Creed, Ant-Man, Me, Earl and the Dying Girl, Carol, and Room. Alright guys, now it's time to get into my top 10 favorite movies of 2015. Coming in at number 10 is... I was surprised by The Hateful Eight. Before watching this, there was a lot of talk that this movie was okay, not Quentin Tarantino's best. What I really loved about this movie is that they create this really intense atmosphere that's very secluded, just this little house. And it plays a lot like Clue, you know, who is who has done what. We really don't know these people. And I think that played out on it really great, and I love that it was brutal, it was gory, it was intense, the dialogue was amazing. And for that, I really loved The Hateful Eight, and it is coming in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is... I also really was surprised by The Danish Girl. Eddie Redmayne previously with The Theory of Everything was a really great performance, so I had high expectations for Eddie Redmayne's performance, but I wasn't sure how much I would like this film. I think that Eddie Redmayne's performance and Lisa Vikander's performance really made me love this film. Both of them were so invested in the role to the point that this movie felt so real. They gave such real performances, it was beautiful, it was heartbreaking, and it told an amazing story. Coming in at number 8 is... It was such a fun movie. I loved The Big Short. The Big Short was a movie that was so much fun, and it took this concept, these things that happen in real life that I had absolutely zero interest in. And then I come out of the movie pretty much acting like an expert on these things and wanting to research all these things. And I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun with it. The actors were amazing. They kept it fresh. They kept it entertaining throughout. They kept you wanting to know more about what is going on. And with that, I really loved The Big Short, and that's why it's number 8 at this year. Coming in at number 7 is... This movie, I love this movie. It was so cool. I love classic James Bond movies. I love the spy movies, and Kingsman Secret Service played on that really well while paying homage to the classic spy films, but also making its own modernized version. It had an over-the-top villain, over-the-top gadgets, and, you know, cheesy dialogue, but it knew what it wanted to be, and it was so action-packed, it was so energetic, and it was such an amazing film. Coming in at number 6 is... With Ghost Protocol, I really liked, and now Rogue Nation number 5. I'm really into the Mission Impossible series right now. Mission Impossible 5 Ghost Protocol is the best one in the series, and by the looks of it, it only gets better. Ghost Protocol added a lot of scenes, action scenes, that my jaw just dropped. I was amazed at how, 1, they filmed it, 2, how Tom Cruise even did it, and 3, how crazy it was. There were so many scenes in this movie where I'm just like, what is going on? How can you do this? And the way that it was handled, it didn't look fake at all. It looked so real, and the stunts I know Tom Cruise does on his own, and that adds, honestly, so much to this movie. Because the scenes look so amazing, they're so real, you're watching them just take place right in front of you. And it just adds a whole nother level to action films. Coming in at number 5 is... This is a dialogue-driven film, and recently I've been into these kind of movies, and Steve Jobs is another dialogue-driven film, a character-driven film. With the previous Jobs film, that wasn't that great. I was kind of worried about how Steve Jobs would do. You're not adding much to the table, and they did just that. They added so much to this table. They took 3 important parts in Steve Jobs' life. They didn't tell us how he became to be, how he founded Apple, none of that stuff. I really like this film because with so much dialogue provided by Michael Fassbender in the script and the actors, we get to understand Steve Jobs on a whole nother level. just not who he was, how he became so famous, how he made his company up. We get to really know someone by how they talk and interact with people. With that, I really felt like I knew Steve Jobs and understood him a little bit more, you know, the backlash people have said about Steve Jobs, whatever, but I really liked the dialogue in here, and with that, I adored Steve Jobs, and it was one of my favorite films of the year. Coming at number 4 is... Now, not a lot of people like Spectre, not as great as Skyfall, I will admit, but Spectre, I'm going to be honest, I'm a big James Bond fan for one, and Spectre took a classic James Bond villain, integrated it into a new story, had a lot of fun with it, paid homage to some of the classic James Bond films, still managed to be really great. Daniel Craig, once again, in this role, I know there was a lot of talk that he didn't want to be James Bond and he never wanted to do it again, all these talks about it, but he still managed to portray James Bond really well. Coming in at number 3 is... Now, not a lot of people saw this movie, and when I talk about it, people are like, what is that movie? Where is it? I've never seen it before. What is it about? Mistress America is a movie that is directed by Noah Baumbach and has Greta Gerwig and Lola Clark, and it's a movie just about, you know, stepsisters, soon-to-be stepsisters actually, just living about in New York City, and it's another dialogue-driven film where we get to really understand these two people. One is 30, one is about 18, 19 years old, and how they live in New York City. This movie has crazy energy flowing from Greta Gerwig. She just gives an amazing performance. I actually think she wrote this film as well with Noah Baumbach. The dialogue is so witty, it's charming, and I was so invested in the interactions between these soon-to-be stepsisters and their daily lives in New York. I just want to know more about these characters. These are people I wanted to hang out with in real life. So if you haven't seen Mistress America, please do yourself a favor and check it out. Alright, coming down to the final 2 films of 2015, and now I know a lot of people's films are either Star Wars and Mad Max, whichever one it is for 1 or 2, and yep, mine are the 2 of the same, Mad Max and Star Wars, but where did they place? This was a hard decision. I'm pretty sure everybody had the same decision. Mad Max, Star Wars, Mad Max. Which one is the best film? And I sat down and thought about it. Okay, which film did I enjoy more? Which film did I feel invested in more? Which characters did I love more? Which film would I want to sit down and watch again over and over? Which film did I have the better theater experience in? I sat down and I thought about it. And I thought about all those things. And I loved Star Wars and Mad Max for separate reasons. And when I sat down and I thought about it, which film is the better one? And so, coming at number 2 is... Star Wars The Force Awakens was such an amazing Star Wars film. It's what we needed. You know, 1, 2, 3 left somewhat of a sour taste in our mouth over the years. And we want a fresh new start with the Star Wars films, and it did just that. It had amazing characters, it had a great villain. It used real set designs that made us feel invested in this movie. It's everything what Star Wars fans could want in a film. But there were a few things I would have tweaked in this film that, you know, I felt like were a little bit rushed, or they didn't give enough detail to the storyline. Nonetheless, I think that Star Wars The Force Awakens was a great film. Obviously, it's number 2 of the year, and I'm excited to see these characters down the road again. So, coming in at number 1 is... It's simple. Mad Max Fury Road is the most awesome, action-packed film I have ever seen in my life. This film does not let go at all. From the opening sequence to the end, this movie is a non-stop thrill ride filled with an over-the-top villain, great, amazing camera work, explosions for days, and an awesome female character played by Charlize Theron. I just love Mad Max. I love the grittiness of the film. I love the action-packed scenes. I love the explosions. I love them just driving along this long stretch of road. And I loved how it was filmed. George Miller did an amazing job filming this. I love going back and watching how he made this film because a lot of scenes that he filmed are in the movie. None of it is special effects. And it just makes it for a fun movie to watch. So there you guys have it. Is my top 10 favorite films of 2015. I know it's a little bit late. We got that all out in the beginning. But here it is now. I just want to get it to you guys. tell you guys what my favorite films of the year are. Expect a montage coming up soon because I like doing those. Montages are fun, but they take a lot of time. So this Just Watch Movies with his top 10 favorite films of 2015. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Just Watch Movies for more upcoming reviews and Blu-ray hauls, Funko Pop hauls. As you can see, I have a lot. 2015 was a great year in films. We got a lot of films that were nostalgic to us, and I can't wait to see what 2016 has to offer. So this Just Watch Movies, and you stay classy, YouTube.